This video will talk about the techniques for managing and hiding wires while installing your LED lights. The first wire management we're going to talk about is one you're going to manufacture yourself. It's panel end cap. It can be found in the local hardware store. It'll be in the trim section. It comes from different manufacturers, but they all work. It comes in 8-foot lengths, and you'll need to go ahead and purchase the equivalent footage of double-sided foam tape to go on the back. Double-sided foam tape comes from different manufacturers. They should all work just fine. First thing you're going to do is you're going to lay down the end cap, and you're going to apply the double-sided foam tape to the back, keeping the edge even with the curve in the front, which is the finished edge on the molding. If you use 3/4 inch or larger double-sided foam tape, you're going to need to trim it off. If you use a 1/2 inch, it should fit right on there, and you won't need to do any trimming. I like to get the 3/4 inch double-sided foam tape because it is more versatile, and I use it in other applications. Once you trim it off, you have a finished piece of molding. You can cut it to length at any time and use it in various places in plain sight, or you can use it inside of cabinets. It's very easy to install and a very rapid way of managing the wires you're about to put in. To apply your wire management, simply cut it to length, peel off the cover, and stick it on the wall. Installing the wire is very easy. First thing you do is you insert it into the gap, and then I like to take this screwdriver with the wheel on the back and just push up along the wire and push it into the tray. You will see the wire fits comfortably into the tray. I like to use this 18-2 shielded security wire from Home Depot. It's got a nice cover on it, and it's very versatile. You could also use a smaller wire or larger gauge wire. It also fits very well into the tray. Another technique for managing wires is a glue gun. You can either apply the glue directly to the wire or possibly to the wire management tray I just showed you how to make. If you apply the glue directly to the wire, you have to hold the wire in place, run the glue up. You might have to hold the wire a couple seconds while it cools. And also, the glue and the wire are always visible, so this might not be something you want to do where the wire is going to be visible. This would be inside a cabinet where it won't be seen by the naked eye. The glue gun I have here is an older style. It tends to drip a lot. If you're going to do a lot of gluing, you want to invest in one that doesn't drip. The next item you might want to use for securing wires is adhesive plates. Adhesive plates come in different varieties. There are ones that have clips built right on them that go around the wire. And there's also ones that have holes in them, so you can use a zip tie. One disadvantage of the ones with the clips around them is you have to have one of the right size. Zip ties are also very versatile. The disadvantage is you have to have a hole to put the zip tie through or something to wrap around to secure the wire. Our next category of wire management is wire nails. Wire nails are probably the most common type of item used to secure wires. One issue with wire nails is they come in so many different sizes, you tend to need to have the right size for the right job. You'll find that some are more versatile than others. Because of their size, sometimes getting the nail in it can be difficult. And what I do sometimes when I change the nail size in these plastic ones is I'll go ahead and use a glue gun and glue the nail in so it doesn't fall out while I'm attaching it. These particular plastic ones I find versatile in that you can trim them to size when you want a smaller depth to the staple. Speaking of staples, you could also use a staple gun. One problem with staple guns is you can't control the indent into the wire, and you don't want to damage the wire. There's also the traditional wire tray on the market. Wire trays are great, but because most of them are designed for AC wires, they tend to be very large and bulky, and their cost per foot is substantial, and you may not find attractive for your project. Still desperate to get those cables from point A to point B? Try adding some trim to the house. Molding is a great way to hide cables. Visit your local home center, find some of the plastic molding if you can. You can always use wood. The nice thing about the plastic molding is it comes in multiple shapes and it's incredibly easy to trim with a razor blade. Some quarter round or some other shapes. Make sure there's enough space that if you trim it off, it's not going to break. And you're going to trim off the corner edge on the back and insert the cable in there. Now, say you want to go around an outside corner, it's a little big, but you can even buy some corner molding, outside corner molding, and then put 2 pieces of molding on either side, and that gives you a nice gap in the center to run your wires down. I do recommend that you pre-drill your holes so you don't accidentally go through the wire when putting the nails in. The physical attributes of your install are also wire management points. You might be putting the wires behind something, or every time you drill a hole, that's a point where the wire is secured as it goes through that hole. The other thing that's also a stretch, but a practical item, is a terminal block. So if you're running a wire and you end in a cabinet, I like to put a terminal block in. Terminal blocks allow you to terminate your wire, and by having wire terminations on all the runs you're running, you can go ahead and power up your infrastructure and then go back and add the lights beyond the terminal block. Hopefully you found this useful. I do have some other videos on related topics.